Welcome, welcome. We are the Melanated Council. Sorry, I'm getting used to this mic. And we stream every Tuesday night. We stream on Tuesday nights, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And wherever you are in the world and you're looking at your clock and it's live and you're thinking, it is not 9 and or 6 p.m., then that's when we stream. I don't know what to tell you. Always, please like, subscribe, share, and enjoy the show. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, we usually like to just talk, share about our weekend, catch up. Hey, okay, classic YouTube. There you go. Yeah, if you're new to the channel, we usually like to talk and share about our weekends, our lives, anything that's just been going on. Before we get to the topic, I guess in a way it's like the what they call the millennial pause. That's kind of what I did this time around. Usually when I click live, I usually kind of just let it ride for a bit for like a couple seconds. But I guess we don't have to do that anymore. I guess I'm just a bit of an old head. Hey! Hey, how's it going, Radaganti? Love it, love it, love to see you. Hey, Mish! Elenated, I love it. Hey! Good to see you, good to see you. So hey, yeah, heart. So, if it's not obvious already, I got a mic arm. If it wasn't obvious to you, then I don't know what I am doing with my life. Not that I got it to just be very obvious. It's just obvious, it's like in my face. But if you just think I'm just that beautiful that you didn't even notice the arm hand, then the mic arm. I keep calling arm hand. Arm hand. I guess the mic is technically the hand. Um, but yeah. Thank you, thank you. Actually, so I got this mic arm and I got a ring light that clamps to the desk. So I'm saving a lot more space on my desk, which I'm absolutely loving. Before I had I had like the mic stand, the little like desk mic stand, but I felt like I always had to like kind of hunch over to speak on the mic. So with this arm, I could just kind of lean back and it's really nice cuz it was hurting my neck sometimes. And thank you, thank you. Thank you. Like this, so I had like a tripod ring light before just hanging on my desk. I can't remember when I bought it. I just bought it at some point. I don't know, maybe I was trying to do something with my life with it. I don't know. So I had it and that was just my light cuz there's literally no lighting in my room really. Like I have this lamp that's kind of blinding you behind me. I got it from my uncle. He it's the smallest lamp on the planet. It's like this big. It's so tiny. And I was like, whatever, sure, I'll take a lamp. And I had this ring light, and that's just what I've been doing for a really long time. It really looks like an arm holding the mic up to you. Yes. Yeah, it kind of does. I see that. It's like a mechanical arm. Well, thank you, arm. Nice to meet you. Um, so that's pretty much like what I've been rocking with for years, honestly. So I was last week was Prime Day, last Tuesday, last Wednesday. So I saw some deals. Not sure how real those deals were, but they were real in my mind. They're real in my eyes. So I bought it and I am absolutely loving it, honestly. Like, the arm is an assistant. It is. And sometimes, growing up, I've always been kind of like reluctant to buy things for myself. But as of late, I've been trying to get out of that because when you need to upgrade, you need to upgrade. Like, if you're doing something and you're doing something consistently, then you should know that it's okay to kind of just suck it up and purchase whatever it is that you're reluctant to purchase. If you know it's going to make your life better, you might as well do it. And I'm really glad about this because I love how it's like very easy to move. Like it's not heavy. And this is like, my hurt shoulder too, and I don't really feel any pain. So yeah, it's been really, really great. Like I do plan on recording some more episodes of my podcast. I was actually planning probably gonna record it actually like this week. So I'm really excited about that because using the stand, even though it wasn't the worst, like it would get kind of annoying. So using this is just so much easier. And sometimes it's just better to take, if you can, like just take less, like just take any sort of blockers out of your life just to make your life easier, especially if it's to do something to be more productive. It is deja vu, Gil. I'm low key just quoting things that Gil's told me throughout the times, the year that I've known him. Like especially when it comes to just like taking things that make, like little blockers that you maybe, yeah, like you may not be thinking about, but it's really there. It could be something as small as having a box, like an empty box in front of the bathroom door or something. Or it's like, oh, I could just move this box out the way. I know it's but like I know that sounds very obvious. Hey Rocky. Hey, how's it going? Hey everybody. I know it sounds pretty obvious, but sometimes like these little things could just be right in front of you and you just don't really notice. And sometimes of course like things can be very difficult to, you know, make things easier. So, but yeah, it's good to like just look at your space that you've been using, whether it's your desk, your bedroom, your living room, dining table, kitchen. Just look at it with like a fresh pair of eyes in a way and just see like what can you do to make things just a little bit easier. Um, now we can start the party. Let's move box, get out of the way. True. Like it's like sometimes we just leave little blockers in front of like we just leave little blockers in front of our doors to, I don't know, like improvement, and we don't even like really realize that. That's kind of what I've been noticing a little bit lately. So I was really glad that I bought this. I bought some other stuff. I bought, a garbage disposal. What else did I buy? I don't know. I went kind of crazy this Amazon Prime. I bought headphones because I really needed some new headphones. It's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know that I have headphones, but if they're not to your liking and you find something that's pretty cheap and it's really good, you might as well get it because it's gonna make yourself a little bit happier. That's how I felt with like buying these speakers. I was so reluctant to buy these speakers for so long. And I was like, let me just suck it up and buy it. But hopefully I calm down with the buying. I think that's enough retail therapy. You gotta retail therapize yourself every once in a while. It's good for the soul. um, Speaking of what's good for the soul, this man can is not only good for your soul like chicken soup, he also speaks to your soul because he is a pastor and things until they collapse. I'm the same way. This man is a pastor, so he can speak to your soul. He can speak your he c- I shouldn't say he could speak your sins away. He can help you. He can help guide you towards sinning less because we're all sinners. I can't just give him that much power, even though he has the power. Don't get me wrong. I don't want to, on record, give him the power. So this man is the jack of all trades and a master of every single trade imaginable. It is pretty impressive. And it is with great honor that I can call him a good friend. And he is y'all's friends too. Without further ado, I would like to bring on the one and only Ron.
Yo, yo, what's happening? Hey, L. Hey, chat.
Hey!
How's everybody doing today? I'm actually off of work in a decent time, so I can come and hang out and chill with you guys. Love the introduction, by the way. Love it.
Yes.
That girl said, I like that girl said, I'm speaking to people's souls. Yeah, she's not wrong. Not wrong. Not wrong at all. But it's up to anyone who hears what's being said. It's up to you to apply it.
Thank
Oh, yeah, you're welcome. Hey,
you.
hey, I see everybody popping in.
Meanwhile, Toby will teach us to sin more.
Who was that,
Yeah.
Rocky? What's happening, Rocky? Yeah, yeah. What's happening? Oh, I miss you guys. I miss you guys like so much. Gil, like my twin brother from another mother and another father. That's who Gil is. My twin brother from another father, another mother, another father. But man, oh my goodness, where can I start other than saying that weekend was pretty relaxing up until Monday.
Mm.
So so y'all, Gil, get ready, brace yourself, Gil, because this is gonna hurt me just as much as it's gonna hurt you. So y'all know that my favorite car in the whole wide world. Well, yeah, my favorite car in the whole wide world, Pontiac G8. Okay, I own that bad boy. Me and my oldest son, we were going to University of Michigan for his college tour. He's a junior in high school. And so out of the four places we've been to, you know, University of Michigan, it's far, but it's not far. Okay.
Okay.
It's two it's 2 hours away from where I live.
Oh, that's not
Two
bad.
hours away.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
No.
So we making our way there and everything else. And literally, we get around a corner for U of M, like literally around the corner from U of M. My car breaks down. It started making some weird noises. I'm like, what the heck is going on with my car? And
Mhm.
so, for anyone who has car issues and you start hearing some weird stuff, you kind of sit back like, okay, what's going on? So, this guy who was in the Marine Corps, he pulls up. He says, "Hey, is everything going on? Is everything right? Is everything wrong?" I'm like, "I don't know what's going on with my car. It's making really, really weird noises. It's almost something like it's there's something that's grinding like metal on metal." For
Shit.
anybody, for anybody who's in cars or in the cars, hearing stuff grinding, especially metal on metal, it's like, ugh. So as he was like, well, here he said, well, where I'm trying to go? I'm like, I'm trying to take my son to U of M for his college tour. It's literally right around the corner from here. All I'm trying to do is get this thing parked, and I'll worry about that later. I just need him to make it to his appointment. So he's like, okay, cool, great. He said, here's what I'm gonna do. Because of the fact that you're having car issues, he's like, I'm going to follow you, and whatever happens, we'll find a place for you to park it, and I'll pay for your parking thing. I'm like, okay, cool, great. I just need, some time to figure some stuff out. So we're pulling off, and the noise starts getting louder. And I'm like, dude, I can't drive this thing no further than what I can. Like, I don't know what's going on. It does not sound right. He said, okay, cool, no matter what. He said, you know what? Park it. I'll drive you there. So I parked it. He paid for everything. We get to U of M. First time ever me being on the campus of University of Michigan. And man, I loved it. It's huge, like huge, huge. And so we're walking around campus. He's taking pictures. We're taking in all the sites and everything else. And so we get done with the tour. We're like, asking him like, so what do you think about U of M? He's like, I like it over Western Michigan. He said it's bigger than Western. He said, but I don't put it over Olivet. And I'm like, okay. Like I don't put it over Olivet because he's like,
Oh.
close second. And so we're like, okay, so what do you want to do? He said, well, I still got to go to Michigan State. I'm like, the school that nobody cares about. He's like, yeah. He's like, I know the sports teams. Yes, yes, Chad, yes. And so, all right. So I'm on my porch and everything else. So, what is up happening? So we're starting to talk, and we're starting to head back to my car. I'm like, okay, where is my car? I don't know where I parked my car at. So we spent some time trying to find my car, and finally found it with I guess a ticket on my car. But at the same time, I'm like, it's kind of crazy. Whatever. So I'm like, okay, I need to move my car from out of this space and go somewhere. I don't bad bearings. Maybe I don't know. I don't. I don't. All I know is this much. When I moved it from the place where I was parking at to like an actual level parking lot, it was sounding like still sketch. So I'm like, okay, I'm not gonna worry about it too much. When I left the parking lot and I just kind of drove it because the guy was like, why don't you just go ahead and take it to what's it called? Take it to O'Reilly's, which is about a mile away, and pretty much go ahead and get it fixed. Some like, or at least use their tools to see what's going on. So me thinking it's my brakes, I'm like, okay, let me check to see if I got fluid in my brakes. I got plenty of fluid in my brakes. I'm thinking, okay, if I can at least get some tools and just kind of like unloosen the brake line, maybe there's an air bubble in there. I don't know. So again, leaving the parking lot, going down the street, I hear like some metal breaking. I don't know what it is. I'm like, that's not good. I'm parking this thing. I'm not driving it no more. Like, no, whatever just happened, because it sounds like metal clanging together. Mm-mm, not doing it whatsoever.
Mm-mm.
Not
Mm-mm.
doing it. So, um, called my insurance company, told them like, hey, I need a tow to the closest place possible because I think something major is wrong with my car. Like I really can't explain it, but I really do believe something major is wrong with my car. So they're like, okay, there's a Firestone complete auto care that's about a mile away. You want to take it there? Like, yep, sure, I'll take it there. It's not my mechanic of choice, but at the same time, I know they do very good quality work. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. Go there. So talking to my dispatcher, my dispatcher's like, well, he said, like, okay. He said, where do you live actually? Like I told him like I live in Three Rivers. That's that's like 2 hours away from where I'm at. He's like, ooh yeah. You're like, so you're very far away from home. So I gave him the spill. And so he was like, it's a good thing that you're actually taking your kid on a college tour. He said, especially you taking them to Michigan. He's like, dude, that's going to change a lot of his perspectives. Like, I know that's the whole reason why we've done this. He already has his eyes set on Olivet in particular. But with him going to Michigan, it kind of changes his perspective a lot more. So now he's kind of like, okay, Michigan done moved up very close to like a solid second. And depending upon what he does as far as his next 2 years, as far as high school goes, I could see him actually making Michigan his first choice.
Mm,
Easy. I can see that happening very easy. Very easy. And so I know we're supposed to be going to Michigan State. No, nothing against anybody who's gone to Michigan State. A couple of my good friends, they graduated from Michigan State. But because of the fact that Michigan State is Michigan State, we don't really care about Michigan State unless they're going against Ohio State. Then that's the only reason why. Other than that, nah, Michigan State can kick rocks. But yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, so tow truck comes and everything else. My mom, my stepdad that come, they pick me up, and my son, he's more so worried about me. He was like, Dad, are you okay? I'm like, dude, like I'm all right because I'm sick. My car broke down, and anybody who knows has been watching, has been following, like Pontiac G8s, they're like my heart as far as car goes. I mean, even the Pontiac brand itself is like that's my heart. I love the Pontiac cars. The sedan, the not the sedans, the SUVs, they're kind of sketchy, but the sedans, Grand Ams, Grand Prix, the G8s, the G6s, the GTOs for crying out loud, the Firebirds, those are my babies. Like I love those cars, very love them very much. So I'm like, man, like I'm hoping the repairs on this thing is not super sky high, because if I have to scrap my car, you know I'm willing to do it, because depending upon how much the cost is and the labor and everything else, I don't know if I'm able to pay for it. But talking to the missus, she's like, things are going to work out. She said, facts. Yes, Rocky. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. But even still, like, because the crazy thing about it is, like, he actually wants to either join the Junior Olympics or actually go and try out for the Olympic team. Like that's what he has his eyes on,
okay.
especially for like the 100-meter dash and the 200-meter dash. Like that's what he wants to do. I know, Gail, I'm trying to tell you, like, dude, man, yes. And the crazy thing about it is, like, the '09 models for the G8, they're the kind of ones where they're kind of like they're hit and miss. The '08 models, they're pretty much solid. The '09 ones, they're hit and miss. And hopefully I don't have the one that's missing. Or
Mm,
hopefully I have the one that's like not super expensive, but at the same time I'm like, man. Mm. But anyways, that's pretty much been my weekend. Yeah, but even then, the crazy thing about it is, like, same time all this is happening and everything else, the missus, she messed around and got a car. And so she's she doesn't have it just yet, but the car company that she's going through, they already told her that pretty much you've been approved for the car. It's going to go up to Lansing to get it detailed and everything else. So by the time all the paperwork is signed and done and stamped with the approval, by the time they get done with the detailing, making sure that everything mechanically is sound, where she's able to drive off the lot as soon as they get done with it, pretty much that's hers. I'm like, you know what? it's funny how things work where it's like my car is down and out of commission and I'm really dead set on, if I'm going to scrap this thing, I'm going to scrap this thing depending upon the cost of the labor and the cost and everything else. Like, but
Mm,
the simple fact of the matter that you got approved for a car is like, that works. I'll take that trade off too. I will take that trade off. And it's a nice car. She has a very nice car. It's a Dodge Journey Crew.
hmm. I don't know about Dodge Journey Crew.
It's a Dodge. She has a Dodge Journey Crew, and that one it's a little bit smaller than the Dodge Durango. It's a little
Okay.
bit smaller than the Dodge Durango, and even then with hers has the option of having third row seating. The
Okay.
I think the original owners they messed around and they took the third row seating out because they got dogs. And I'm like, I get it. I get it. You got dogs, and rather than being on that leather seat, put them in the back. Like I
Yeah.
get that.
Yeah, for
I get
sure.
it a lot. So, you know, that's where
Hmm.
we're at right now. That's been my weekend, and everything is still good. So yeah, that's me in a nutshell.
Okay. So, Ron, would you like to introduce our third and final host?
Let's see. You might have to bring this other person on, but I will introduce him. I will introduce him because I'm on
Yeah,
my
of
cell phone.
course.
So,
Yeah, yeah.
okay. So, this last person, if you guys could do process of elimination, you already know who this person is, but we still got to introduce this person because why? It just makes sense. So
Absolutely.
this next host, next guest, next whoever you want to call this young man, this young man is very special to all of us. He has been a huge inspiration behind the logo that you see. Huge inspiration.
Yeah,
Huge inspiration. He
that's true.
he inspired the creation of the logo. And so whenever you see the logo, you see this person. Why? Because this person is probably the most challenge driven individual I have ever met. You tell this individual, hey, I bet you won't eat this. He's gonna look at it like, you know what? I'll raise you one. Not only will I eat this, but I will turn around. I'll have somebody else to make it that doesn't belong to me. And they're gonna make it, and I'm gonna eat that too, and I'm gonna give them back just only to turn around and have them to do a whole 4 course meal with no strings attached, literally, and be done with it. Like Rico Suave has nothing on this man. Nothing on this man. Even Salt Bay ain't got nothing on this young man. Has nothing. You tell me? He's also the world's most underrated, interesting man, hands down. He is the world's most underrated, interesting man, hands down, because he brings such clever wit, clever puns, and yes, the stream puns are definitely attended.
Hmm.
And he normally flies literally probably by the seat of his pants. I'm telling you, like this man is so smooth with everything. It's like, oh, you said you like me for real? I didn't know. I couldn't tell. I thought we just sit here trying to play video games together and just crack jokes. Like this man is just phenomenal in his own right. But I will say this much: if you have any sisters, so your sisters are attractive, hide them under lock and key because he will come and find them. He has certain skills that qualifies him to try and take his shot. And if he makes that 3 pointer, game
Which
over.
you will.
Oh yeah, no, listen, he'll make those, he'll make the 2 pointers, he'll make the layups, slam dunks. Matter of fact, this man is so cool, he will alley oop himself just so he could go ahead and shoot the 3 point ball. Hands down, hands down, hands down. So if y'all ready for this young man, we love him. We love his energy. We love his wit. Y'all give it up. Show some love for the one and for the only Toby.
Woo!
What is
Yes.
up? Oh my gosh, I've missed you all too.
Yes.
If y'all are ready for this young man,
Yes. 3,000 miles and running. Yes.
that's crazy. Everyone comes home eventually. That's all I'm gonna say.
Wow. Okay, sir.
Okay,
The
Okay,
gentlemen.
sir.
DMV is what it is. Don't be surprised if y'all's relatives just wind up here, and one day when you go to visit your relative, I'm just chilling in the background. Oh, Toby, I didn't know that you knew my sister, my cousin. Yeah, yeah, I do.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He knows I'm all right. He knows I'm all right.
Oh, that's actually crazy though. Like, I think that's like a real life. I don't think in real life I've actually gotten entangled with someone's relative. That's a different story.
And the plot thickens, ladies and gentlemen.
Yo.
Yeah.
So how's it all going? I know I was hearing what everyone was saying. Sounds like your sun run has some good choices laid out. It's awesome. Future's looking
Yes,
bright.
Gil. You got me, Gil. You got me, Gil. You got me, Gil.
What's happening?
Gil, you got me.
I sustained myself by getting your girl. Listen, that's why I lost so much. That's why I lost so much weight because I was like 40 pounds higher this time in 2021, and it was because I just haven't been able to. I just haven't been able to practice my dark arts. Haven't been able
Oh
to
my
practice
gosh.
my dark arts since then. So I've had to struggle out here. I have to remember where my pans are. Well, I moved, so at least now I took inventory of everything. Have been
Mhm.
serious because I actually have been trying to get back into cooking, but it's been a very slow process.
It is a hard process. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, should I? Sorry, should I? I know you guys were. Well, actually, what am I saying? You guys did introduce me. So so yeah, because I feel like it's been I've been so I've almost forgotten how to stream. No, in terms of what's been going on, there was a festival that got canceled, but Broccoli City, it's like guess a big festival. I feel like it's not as big as some of the really popular ones like Governor's Ball or um what's the really huge one that you always hear about. Um Either way, it gets people though, but there was just stuff that happened. Lightning struck. It got canceled like late Saturday, and then I don't know. Sunday I went at the very end because I was sleeping and enjoying. And by the time I got there, it was the headliner, Brent Fayez, whatever, however you pronounce the name. So it was. I bought a ticket. Thankfully, these people said they were refunding all of us on Saturday because of the issue with the lightning. But also,
Ooh.
I know I bought a ticket beforehand. You had to have bought a ticket a month in advance to get a wristband, and the wristband had like an RFID thing to scan. So it was really basically they had like a giant will call. They had like two will call booths with multiple people, maybe three people working or four people in each one. And yet there was like a huge crowd, like not even a line, but a huge crowd. And I'm like, we all bought our tickets beforehand and we still can't even get in. Like I don't know how long. I might have waited up to an hour. Other people had been there longer than I was. So very disorganized. I wouldn't say zero, but not a high number out of 10. Do better, Broccoli City. And I know I heard someone even saying, because it's like, mostly black people, because it's a black run thing and it's, for the culture. And so literally people were like, why does it gotta be us when we're running this? It just can't get it together. And I've not been to a lot of festivals, so I don't know if it's usually, I don't know, more well run in other cases, but I'm just like, this did not need to be like this. It could have been anything else where you have a normal barcode like you would for a Ticketmaster or Eventbrite.
Mm-hmm.
To be all unique and do all this nonsense. So, any case, that was the weekend. I got to meet up with a friend though who lives here, but she moved here I think a year ago. We knew each other when I was in grad school, so back in like 2016 to 18. And
Okay.
she moved to Boston, like she was going to Boston University Dental School. So we met up once, 2021, so actually basically 2 years ago that summer. But like that, we hadn't met up like 2 years ago. We met up, and before that, we hadn't seen each other since like maybe late 2018. So I feel like we kind of sparsely kept in touch, but haven't been able to like see each other much. So being able to catch up, like we met up at the Broccoli City, literally as they were shutting down, and we're like, yeah, lightning strikes. And so I saw her. I didn't even get to like really enjoy the festival with her, but we did like plan to meet up. So that was cool. I saw Across the Spider-Verse on Friday. Oh my gosh, like the weekend was kind of a crazy one because I watched Across the Spider-Verse with my siblings. Great movie, phenomenal. That was Friday night. I went home to where my parents live. That's like an hour from basically where I live.
Mm-hmm.
And then I stayed at my parents' house. Me and my brother we lived together. We both stayed there. And then I caught up with my parents. They wanted the time to sort of just talk about life, some financial things, some other stuff, work, just different various things. And I feel like I still want to talk about so many things. I don't know. I just got to process everything as I'm processing it. And then I don't know. Life has just been life. Work has been a lot. Don't recommend. 0 out of 10. But you got to get a paycheck somehow. So
Yeah.
I mean, it's getting kind of, I don't know. There's some good things, I guess. Like there's things that I'm definitely getting through, and like there's some progress being made, but just there's been a lot more than I would like. Just not just like the workload, but just like different weird dynamics. But it's fine. I mean, the people are mostly fine. Like it's not an issue with coworkers. It's just weird structural things at my company. But was that a clown horse? Oh, that was yeah, that's freaking notifications are on. Let me silence that. Clown horse, that's so funny. It's I forget the name of the notification, but I use it for my WhatsApp. This new phone, like normally I don't hear notifications, but this phone notifications actually work, and it hasn't really been working for like the last few years. So it's weird when I'm like, oh my god, yeah, my phone actually makes sounds now, because it just used to never, you know, the sounds were, I don't know, it was really strange. Samsung Galaxy was acting weird. Gil, well, no comment. I cannot. Listen, I don't know what's happening. I don't know who this person is. I don't even know if you have a
Allegedly.
You could be, but all I'm gonna say is if somehow cross paths, then cross paths. What am I supposed to do? What was that first comment though, Chad? You said for you.
For you, Toby?
I forget. I have to. I think it was something that I said, and then, but it's okay. That's mostly everything for, I guess, this past week. I don't know what's happened. I don't even know what's happened the last 2 or 3 weeks. Oh, I do know. I've had to take care of some tax things. I'm not going to even go too much into that, but taxes that needed to have been done a long time ago are getting taken care of.
That's good.
And that's another thing to knock out, because there's just been 1,000,001 things that I've had to do since moving here. And that tax thing is a huge one that is actually very close to getting done. I dropped off one return. I'm not going to say from what year, but it was not this year. I dropped it off to the IRS office. That's like 10 minutes from my apartment. And so, because it was the fastest way versus trying to mail it in. And I was like, no, I'm just going to walk in. You're going to take my return, and we're going to get immediate confirmation. And then there's a few other back ones that still need to get done. So those are mostly done though. And then some state ones that also need to get done.
Okay.
So hopefully this time next week, that'll be good. And then And yeah, that's it.
All right. No, that's what's up. Yeah, like you mentioning about a festival reminded me that I actually went to a festival over the weekend. I did so much crap over the weekend, honestly. Like I just like Saturday I did like 3 things. So Usain Bolt had like a statue erected in a city called Miramar.
Mm.
Like it's just north of like Miami in Broward County. And yeah, so it was like a free event. He was there. Toby's the one billionaire that actually pays his fair share of taxes. Hey, that's good.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely need more of
Right.
those. And I guess
Right.
whoever wins the Powerball.
Oh yeah,
Hey,
they're
you're
gonna pay
forced to.
taxes, all right.
Yeah. Yeah, whoever like yeah, go play the Powerball. But yeah, so we got to witness that. Usain Bolt was there.
Oh,
Pretty
that's
cool. Yeah, so they had like a statue of him erected and over there. I guess because I don't quite know why in Miramar. I don't know if he has family in Miramar. I know there's a big Jamaican population in Miramar, so
Mhm.
I don't know. Um, and then I went to a burger battle, um, and like more up north, like in Boca Raton, and which is in Palm Beach County, and that was a lot of fun. It was like a festival, and you had unlimited beer and alcohol to drink, and you can eat as many burgers as you want. Of course, I didn't go crazy. You know, I'm old now. I'm not like I can't just be like I had what like 2 beers, and this guy gave me some rum,
Ooh.
and that like him and his company creates like distills. It was good. It was great rum, but I was like, I can't drink this. This is just way too strong. But yeah, it was awesome. So, yeah, they had 10 different burger places. Well, places that sold burgers. The winner was a place called Yard House. They're actually a national chain.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I'm not, I wouldn't say I'm like old, but like I'm too old to just be like drinking in like 90-degree weather like all day.
Yeah.
It's like
Oh
I
God.
can't.
so yeah, so Yard House won. Yeah, Yard House is a solid place though. I'm not gonna deny it. They had like a truffle burger, which was good. Um the second place was this place called Burton's. I don't know where they were. I think they may have had pig in their burger, and I don't eat pig personally.
Mm.
Um, so I think out of the 10 burger places, like 3 of them had like bacon or pork belly on it. But apparently, from what my friends were telling me, that these weren't even good burgers. So I didn't really miss out on anything.
Oh, wow.
I forgot who won third place, but there was like a People's Choice burger, which I guess is just a fancy way of saying fourth place. And it was a restaurant down here called Papamigos. And I was really happy because I actually voted for them. So I was happy to see like the one that I voted for get recognized.
Nice.
And they like they had like a taco burger because they specialize in like tacos and sushi. So I was surprised that they even had a burger, but their burger was fantastic. I remember their food being good. Their food is pretty good. Got the wrong stuff from maybe just get a burger. Like, and I agree, Chad. I guess I'm just out of practice. That's fair. I definitely don't drink as much as I used to, and just overall for like health reasons. Not to say that I'm more so for like fitness reasons rather than health reasons.
Mhm.
because it's not even so much the alcohol; it's more so like when you are drunk, what you end up doing, and you end up eating a bunch of crap. Like, if you literally just drink alcohol, you're kind of fine, like low key. Like, if you just have like shots of vodka or shots of tequila, that's actually not. It's not. I mean, alcohol overall is not good for you, but
Mm.
if you're going to drink and you're trying to maintain, like weight, a caloric deficit, or whatever the heck you're trying to do, just take shots. But overall, specialize in tacos and sushi. I'm sorry, what? Yeah, that's what they do. I don't know what to tell you. That's what they do.
No, there is no cross contamination happening. No, never.
That's what, hey, ain't as good as I once was, but I'm as good as once as I ever was.
Well, I'm as good once as I ever. Yeah, I've definitely seen something like that.
Yeah.
As good once as I ever. Sounds like some old man nonsense or some like you're sitting on the porch saying some things.
I know. But yeah.
The one thing I was gonna say about Yard House was I've only been there once. It was actually around this time last year. A friend took me, a friend who I hadn't seen in a while, quite some time, maybe since early in that year.
Okay.
Or sometime at least. Either way, like so we were able to catch up, and it was interesting. I went with her and then a friend of mine who was subletting for my roommate. So it was just the three of us, but it was kind of cool because the Yard House is like 5 minutes from my job, at least where it was located in Massachusetts. And I'd been in that kind of complex many times, the Burlington Mall area, because there aren't really a lot of malls like properly in Boston. You have to kind of go out to the I mean, not even just suburbs. You might have to go like 30 minutes out. Like,
True.
usually it's just
true.
you just got to find these other towns, and it just happens where I work and live was close to this one. So we went there. I got like a steak. It was actually nice because my it's weird because it couldn't have been my birthday unless it was like a belated birthday present. But I think that's what it was. I think she had offered to get me something because we were supposed to go out for steaks some other time near my birthday. It didn't happen because life was life, and so she had covered it for me, which is nice. So I had like a T-bone steak, and normally I don't really buy steaks. Like if I eat steak, it's probably maybe some meal that's part of like it could be like a corporate dining hall, it could be elsewhere, it could just be some event, but I don't usually like at a sit down restaurant order steak. Maybe steak with like takeout food like Chinese or something like that. But to have like actual steak that I order, it was cool. Like, but that's the only thing I've had from there was the steak, and I think maybe there was like some skewered shrimp or something that we had kind of shared. But I haven't had a burger, which is usually like a good way to gauge a restaurant. I haven't really had. I don't think I had like a rice dish because for me, I always love rice. So there's like a rice, even steak and rice is like a nice combination. So I have to find the Yard House near here, and see what the burger is like because that's big to win a competition like that.
Well, it wasn't a national one. It was like a city one. Like some of my friends were kind of upset about it because if it was it was called like the Boca Burger Battle. Boca not as in mouth. It was Boca as in the city Boca Raton.
Yeah.
But like,
Mouth.
like mouth would have also been appropriate for the name of the thing. But yeah, because like Yard House, I didn't know Yard House was even a national chain. So when he told me that, I was like, oh, really? It's a national chain? And I was like, yeah, that's kind of messed up. I think that is kind of messed up if you're trying to have like a local thing and then you have, just like a national, nationwide chain. It's like, but it was like, oh, this particular burger is only for the Yard House in South Florida. Then I'd be like, okay, that's a little bit different. But if it's not, if they're just gonna have this burger throughout the entire nation, it's kind of, I could see how that could be kind of messed up.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, Rocky, I'd say sushi tacos.
I was going with the same thing too. Sushi tacos. I'm like, yeah. And even now, I was trying to picture in my brain, like, how would that even work? But then it's like, you know what? Maybe if we get like some flatbread and shape it in like a taco shell and deep fry it and put the sushi in there. Oh my gosh.
Hmm.
Yep. That sounds delicious. I'm going sushi tacos.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. I guess I mean like fish tacos are popular, but I'm not
True.
sure if I've had sushi tacos. That's actually interesting. I guess sushi's already wrapped.
Alive. Moving angrily. That's funny. That is very funny.
That's hilarious. Oh man, I still wanted grazing the field.
Yeah,
That's
right.
crazy. Oh man. Okay. You, ma'am,
Yes. Okay.
would you like to
Yes.
take us in?
So, um, before introducing the topic, we do want to announce um, changes that we are going to do to the Melanated Council. Please don't freak out. It's not. It's not bad. It's just a slight change. Um, so because we've noticed that, just life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, kidding, sort of, but like, because we noticed like life has been getting, a little bit more hectic, a little bit more, things have just been, mom and dad are breaking. Things are just getting a little bit more congested. But no, no, the band is not breaking up. I told y'all not to freak out.
Well, by telling them that now, they're
I know, right?
definitely gonna freak. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So.
Oh my gosh. No.
No, one of us is the Justin Timberlake. But
I'm done.
No. So, like, because life is just beginning, a lot more hectic for all of us. We decided to starting in August. No, it's not your fault. Starting in August, we're going to be moving our streams to the other Tuesday rather than every Tuesday. It's something we're talking about. It's not your fault at all.
No.
Like,
Oh my god.
That's too precious. My heart.
no, not your fault. Not your fault at all. Like we were trying to figure out like what can definitely work best for all of us and for all of you, since we've been streaming on Tuesday nights since 2020, since May 2020. Like it's kind of just been our streaming day, our streaming home. Like to change the day would have been weird, and it would also just been thrown everybody else off. And to stream at a different time would have also just been it would have just been incredibly difficult to manage. So we figured that maybe having it every other Tuesday would be It's not you, it's them. It's just them. We figured that every other Tuesday would work well. Nothing changes to this month. We're going to stream every Tuesday for the rest of this month, which I think is just how many other we have like one more Tuesday, I think.
Oh snap!
I think so.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we have one more Tuesday, but we stream 3 times in August. So we're going to stream August 1st, August 15th, and August 29th. So it was a hard decision for all of us. You know, we figured that have more give us a bit more time to acclimate to our new schedules and our new lives and everything. Toby moved to a different state, and his job has been getting very hectic, and he's been working on new projects, and that's been eating into his time a whole lot. Ron is working another job at Taco Bell, and Bell, like they're like this of late night of late night fast food. So they may say like, oh, you only work from you get off at 10, but 10 is like pretty much the speed limit in South. It's like a suggestion, like no one.
That's true. That is true.
Nobody, you're not going to be following that. If you do, you're kind of weird. But so, and just my shoulder, especially with my dislocated shoulder, and just, I was working on, just trying to get back into the swing of things, back into life. There's just been like a lot of things happening in our lives, and we took it up, like we decided that probably be best do another Tuesday night. But I definitely think it's going to be for the better. So in terms of our formatting for our stream, to be
Who is saying
like,
this?
how could it have explained, Gil? How? What did you
Hold on, Gil. Explain your logic, sir.
explain it? I would love to hear this.
Explain your logic.
You're explaining. Well, no, they're lying. It's me.
Well, Gil convinced you to. Gil inspired you to start a podcast, and now because of starting the podcast, we have.
Oh wow!
Oh,
wow. Stream, and now we're doing every other. So Gil did like some 5-dimensional chess to get him to. No, Rocky, no.
It was good. All right. We're still going to stream. I don't know what.
These comments are some of the wildest. Like the last 3 comments are just like the most tragic.
Oh my god!
Just leave me like everyone else does. Like, wait, what?
I can't. I can't. Stop, Gil. Stop.
Gil.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
We are not playing that. No. We are not playing the sad Titanic song as the ship is going down. No, we're not doing that.
Sad Titanic song.
Oh no.
Oh my gosh. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. You guys understand. Please understand that. Again, I echo what Ella's saying. Like right now, because of the fact that with my job currently, because get Gil, go to bed. You leave the stream on. Leave the stream on. Just go to bed.
Leave it the stream.
You don't even
Leave the
have
stream.
you don't even have to close your eyes and go to sleep. Just get in your pajamas and just lay there. Make yourself into a human burrito and just lay there. You don't do anything else.
Oh my God.
Stop, Rocky. You go lay down too.
The image of
Just leave the stream on.
in pajamas. I haven't even thought of anyone in particular in their pajamas. So now Gil in pajamas is just all of a sudden there.
Yeah, with like the hat. He's got the hat.
The huge hat.
Oh my gosh. No, you guys, listen. Gil, brilliant. I'm done.
We're not rejecting you. Oh my God.
Oh goodness. No, listen, for real. Like with my job currently, because of the fact that we're struggling with labor, and so I do know that again, because of the fact the nature of the beast is we're trying to keep labor, under a certain threshold. And if I am asked to stay over, I can. If I'm asked to go home early, I can. But it really just depends on the labor. And so I know that the joke at the store that I work at is in order for me to have like a day off, which I got Friday off,
Nice.
I have to be my manager. I have to be my manager for the next 30 days while she takes R&R. And I said the only way I would do it is it has to be done in writing. Well, she took it upon herself and she has it in writing. Whether it's going to fall through or not, I have no idea. But the GM, the general manager, she read it, she saw it, she laughed. She said, "Okay, I don't know how this is going to work out, but there it is." I'm like, it's there, so whatever happens is going to happen. Again, jokingly saying it's not going to happen, but in the event it does happen for real, which I don't think it is. Yeah, Tuesdays are probably going to be a little rough, but again, we will cross that bridge when the bridge is actually being built. As of right now, there's no bridge, there's no crossing. We have what we have. So it's okay, people. It's okay.
Yeah.
We're not leaving. We're not disbanding. You don't have to. It's okay.
And it's not
It's
your
okay.
fault. It's not any of your faults.
It's nobody's fault. It's just life sucks. Life sucks. And for anybody who knows life sucks.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Y'all are literally the best. I mean, we love each other too, of course, but y'all are literally the best, like, part of all of this. So, which we literally we pointed out when we were talking about all this, like the chat and the fans or whatever. I mean, you guys are really what keeps us going.
Oh
for real.
my gosh. Rocky.
It's very much, in all seriousness, you guys are literally what like helps break through the, like even with the intensity of life and the, can we make the stream this week? Can we make the stream every week? You guys absolutely always lift us up. So don't even worry about all that. Y'all are the best. Seriously.
Yeah.
You're here
for
every
real.
week, or basically every week. And we all have lives. So you guys really are the best. Terrible Tuesday. If you don't get out of here.
I know, right? I guess it's every other Tuesday, which will be starting next month. Okay. Like we still got like next Tuesday, still come and join us. We're gonna be here. And then also the following Tuesday, first, we're going to be here. You're the favorite of two jobs. We're gonna do two jobs. It's true.
Not y'all pulling up on my job.
Yo, can you imagine?
Listen, the look on everybody's face, like, hey,
Tacos out.
listen, I'm gonna have to stop the fire real quick. Like, hey, I know them. They're fine. They mean no harm. They come in peace. Just let me get them some tacos and let me get them on their way. I will make it for them. Just they come in peace. They mean no harm.
No.
I don't know.
Oh my.
The chat might not. The chat might actually not. They might actually mean harm.
Yeah.
Some of them. I can't speak for Rocky and them. I don't know. They might mean some harm.
I don't know. It might be like a taco gate or something.
Ah, man.
No, it means a lot to us. That to y'all too.
Right.
No, like it really does. It really does. Like this wasn't an easy decision. It wasn't at all. Like it was just life. Like what Ron was saying, and like it's just for all of us. Like
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Gil, keep your head up.
Because listen, the alternative isn't necessarily great. So this was a decision made very much to sustain and help us all out, make us able to put more energy and be able to sustain. Because if burnout is a hell of a drug. It's not a good
It
one.
is.
It is not a good one.
Yo, what is this?
I was gonna have like
What is this?
like talk like what is this? It's like have a podcast.
Oh my god! I can't.
That is so
I
funny.
love this. I love this, but I can't.
Funny.
The AI thing is a little. We'll be right back. Let's just train all of our YouTube. Let's get a video generation and just train the entire. What do we have? 170. We have like over 150 episodes.
Yeah.
So we just
Wait, let's use AI.
I don't think we have over 150. Do we have a? I don't think we have.
I
we have
mean,
definitely over 100. I don't think we have over 100 because like
oh shoot.
there's 52 weeks in a year. So I know that there's.
and we've been live for about 3 years. Toby's not
Right.
far off.
But like
That is actually
our
strange.
year 3 was the end of May though. That's been like episodes.
But you also got to remember too, back when we first started, we did like almost 2-3 episodes a week.
I think that's why.
You did?
Because so looking at the YouTube, it says 168. Now, granted, Ron did have like a few promos. I know that there was a time where you would post a few like shorts before they were shorts.
Yeah.
But even that was like I don't think it was more than 2. I think most of it was because we did like 2 episodes in the first few weeks. I'm telling y'all who weren't here at the beginning, like it was that like we even need to do the slowdown now. Like I can't even believe that it was COVID. So what else were we doing with our lives? And there was a lot of energy in that time. Black Lives Matter and there was quite a lot of energy to keep ourselves going that year. But wow, there were definitely some times where it was 2 episodes, in like that first month particularly, and then those pop-up episodes that we would have every now and then. We usually still had a regular episode when we would do the pop-up episode for like January 6th, right? I actually that was a wild day. I slept. Like I woke up and then I was like looking at my phone like, whoa, what happened? I think when I went to sleep there was news of some protest, but I wake up and next thing I know it's like after 10 p.m. or it's probably like midnight or even afterwards, and it's like, oh, people just smashed the Capitol. Okay. But yeah, we used to have those pop-up episodes. There's a lot of content is the point. And AI is gonna do a number. Placing TMC is a step too far. We must hold the line. That's crazy.
Oh man,
I love y'all for real.
for real, you
I
guys. You,
love
you
y'all
have
like cook food.
cooked food. That works.
Mm.
That works. But you know, oh shoot, I don't want to get into it. El, I'm not gonna take your thunder. Go ahead, because there's some stuff that's
No.
been. You want me to go?
Yeah.
Okay, so if anybody who is watching, of course, we're talking about money and AI.
Mhm.
So over the weekend, one of my good friends, she was streaming, and actually another good friend of mine, he was also streaming too. He's a DJ, and so as we were, just talking, shooting the breeze, and everything else, we pull up a channel, and the channel is an AI generated Twitch channel. And so the viewers can ask the AI certain questions, and the AI will answer them will answer those questions in real time with a very thorough, in-depth answer. And so we're kind of talking about it. We're like, okay, so is this going to be the future of streaming? And with the utilization of AI, how's that going to work for the streamer? And we were just sitting around having a whole conversation like, man, it is kind of weird that we're living in an age where we're seeing this happening when you would have asked anybody, we'll call it 10 years ago, okay, do you think that streaming platforms will utilize AI? They're like, no, heck no, ain't no way. Like, no. But here we are, you know, again, again, it's just, it's one of those things where it's like, okay, if it comes to it, who will Twitch end up paying? Will they end up paying the streamer or the AI? Because the AI is more so on camera, more so than the actual streamer themselves.
Well, who created the? Because wouldn't a streamer have to set up their profile and everything?
The streamer will have to set their profile. This is correct, yes. But at the same time, the way how this AI was integrated into the streamer's channel, the streamer themselves could have very well be doing God knows what, you know, God knows what, and using the AI to actually communicate with the viewers and pretty much carry the stream until the streamer says, "Hey, I'm going to shut this thing off and call it quits." You know, and I'm thinking long term wise, okay, if we already know that the sophistication of AI as of right now is still steadily evolving and still steadily learning and growing, what's not to say this AI will turn around and make its own YouTube channel, own Twitch channel, and all the viewers that were on your channel just so happen to migrate over to the AI, and now you're just screwed out of water. What's that really going to do to you? And especially to your bottom line, which is your money, the way how you make your money. So I'm thinking long term wise.
Mm-hmm. Are you
Mm.
saying like Twitch specifically, or just streaming, um, like sites in general, like YouTube and Facebook, Twitter?
Like, mm, like anyone, like any
Okay.
one of those, any one of those platforms. It just fascinated to me that when we were just talking to everything else, like we just so happened to see it on Twitch. And we're like, whoa, okay, like this is a different avenue. This is it's different. It's like, yeah. And like, and again, the people were asking like very thorough questions, and the responses that were given back, there weren't like some generic response. No, they were actually thorough. Like the
Mm,
AI took time to not only thank the streamer, thank the viewer for the comment, and I see you, chat. So going back to the train of thought. So not only did the AI thank the the viewer for the question, the AI will then turn around and take like 2 to 3 minutes to thoroughly answer that question, and even then, kind of give it a little bit more in depth answer as well. And it was just kind of like, holy crap! Like this thing is really happening. It's really happening.
hmm Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, yeah. So it's and again, a lot of people like they're like kind of like short term. I'm thinking long term. I'm like, man, this mess may be,
Bigger than handle or
yeah. Oh
comprehend.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
that's
Definitely.
like it's becoming so like futuristic. Like the things that you see from movies, shows. Like I was just thinking about the people imitating NPC characters on TikTok and getting, they're getting big money. They're getting paid. And it was just kind of freaky where it's just kind of starting to tip over the world really between human and AI.
Mhm.
I've personally been noticing this since like 2015 or so.
Mhm.
When President Trump was running for president, I noticed on Reddit it started getting very toxic. Not like Reddit was the healthiest place on the internet, but I started using Reddit back in 2011, and it was a place where a lot of like intelligent people would gather. Um, People would, I don't know, like it was a nicer space. It was like an intelligent, nice space, and it was more healthy. And then 2015, 2016, people just started getting racist, worse spaces for like racism, but like the shit started just kind of seep into subreddits slowly but surely.
Mhm.
You started getting more racist, more misogynistic, sexist, and it was and trolls. People who used to downvote for fun because they were purposefully trolls. It was hard to tell the difference between someone who was a troll on purpose versus who literally believed in some crazy BS. And
Mhm.
I don't know. Apparently, there was a lot of like Russian propagandists on Reddit, which isn't surprising. Um, I think too, you see the bots on Twitter, and then you could usually tell what a bot is. Now with dating apps like Tinder, and they have fake accounts on purpose to keep men on the apps because there just aren't enough real women on these apps. Men, these dating apps Um, so I said we're starting to tip that. There's already that guy that's sort of like Vogue and Vanity and things like that, like fashion magazines since 2016. I don't know if I shared the IG video with you, Toby, but I know I shared it with Gil. Like, I remember hearing about her years ago, and I guess she's still doing stuff. And the creator is like some white guy, so he's probably reaping in the funds for it. I guess it's just things are starting to blend together, reality and fiction, and reality and AI. I guess it's technically fiction. Is it though? Is if an AI was telling you facts, is that fiction? Boo, white guy. But I don't know. It is starting to get very scary because we don't. I don't know. It just seemed like it was something that we slept on. I mean, I guess Andrew Yang didn't sleep on it. I guess it was something that we didn't really know, because I remember seeing charts saying, "Oh, these are the careers that are in jeopardy by AI." And I remember seeing actors, and I thought that was weird. Like, I knew, like, I'm familiar with, like, video games and, Unreal Engine, for example, and, just like how realistic a lot of graphics are, and, the CGI and everything. So I was like, what do they mean by actors? Because even if they replace the actors with CGI, wouldn't that just be obviously fake? And even if it's not, wouldn't they just still need their voice? Because I have friends who are actors, and sometimes they also do voiceover work. And so I was thinking, it's like, okay, if everything is just CGI-ish, like, if you ever seen, I think it's called Love, Death, and Robots on Netflix. It's an anthology series. Some of the episodes are made by like CGI, like 3D graphicsness. So I thought it was going to be something like that, and then you just have the voiceover work of certain things versus actors making the frogs. I mean, that could be a real thing, unfortunately. So I thought it was going to be something like that. I never really, I couldn't really picture just an AI, just something that's completely like a 3D rendering, a 3D model of just a famous actor or actress, like, I don't know, like Lupita Nyong'o or something, and they're just using her likeness, and you just think it's her because it's so realistic, like so crazy realistic, that you couldn't really tell the difference. Like, it's scary. It's frightening. Unfortunately, or maybe it's fortunately rather, AI can't really create emotional art pieces yet, in terms of, especially writers. They can't, it can't quite do that, and I don't know if it ever can, because when I was taking stand-up classes, when I was learning how to do stand-up properly, I remember my stand-up coach, he was saying how really make up, you can't really make up you have to really pull from your life, because once you start to make up things, the audience can tell you're faking it. That's why most of the time you can't really like just do a stereotypical Asian accent. However, you can mimic someone who you know who happens to be of like Asian descent, who happens to have an Asian accent, because you know that person, you may work with that person, you might be friends with that person, so you know the words that they say, you know their mannerisms, you know how they act. You don't know how to visualize just a random Asian, and unless like of course like you hang out and interact with them a lot for years. But if you are just some rando person in the middle of like any Asian people, then you can't really do that. It's going to come off very like inauthentic. So that's what I'm thinking with like how these AI, if they're going to write scripts and write characters and have these characters act, emote correctly, and present correctly, it's going to take a long time. and like when you actually present to the audience, it's going to come off inauthentic. It's probably not going to land right. My big concern is though, how much do they actually care about authenticity in terms of a person? Because kids, they're probably going to grow up and not really know what authenticity is. He says it can't. And if you told me in 21, then in 23 we'd be creating meat out of a printer, I believed it. I was like a child. I don't know. That's true. I guess we can't really know, but it's things where it's like, are we going to have a choice? Because, millennials and Gen Z and X and what have you are just going to, when we get old, we're probably going to remember a time when emotions were real. I could tell authenticity actually looked like, because if the based off of AI and programs written by a handful of white men and Asian men and maybe like a black guy who's really just there to kind of collect a paycheck, so he's not really truly, he's supposed to be in charge of just biases and shit. That's why they hired him. And it's like, is this really our future? True. Thought we'd all have flying cars, Japanese bosses. Also, always hilariously wrong too. True. I mean, I still see something about flying cars though. I just saw something about that together. I really hope not, because that would just freaking suck.
What's your take on that? For what it would mean? I guess why it would suck. What it means for society.
Flying cars. Well, first of all, people don't know how to drive on the ground. So,
fair enough.
So to have,
that's one.
We can't even really function on like the axis, so to include the Y axis and the Z axis. It's going like like we already have issues of people crashing into people's homes. Like imagine it flying through your freaking roof. Like at least if you're sitting by the window and you see a car coming to you, you can actually react. You could do something. I can't. I don't have windows on my ceiling. I don't know if something were to just fly into my ceiling, into my roof. And who's gonna pay for that? Like, no flying cars. Yes, please, no. Yeah, like you know, you're gonna hear of stories of people driving into people's cars on the first floor, and then now if you live on like the 6th, 7th, 8th floor, now you're gonna be freaking out.
I can see the news captions now. Florida man drives flying car into multi-level condo and says, "Whoops, my bad, didn't see you there."
And like very little.
Like, really?
You didn't see a whole building.
Why?
Just a little oopsie.
Hopefully, Rocky, we'd be phasing that out. I mean, there's still people today who don't have cars. You know, so like to make the transition from ground. First of all, we still don't have like electric vehicles. Just like I don't know. Like, I want to say like it's pretty widely available, but in terms of like the charging stations, it's still that's still an issue. It's getting better, but that's still a thing. And I don't think many cars have like fast charging chargers. Like, I think only for like your home, if you install it, it could be fast charging. If I'm not mistaken, I'm not quite sure. So we don't even have that yet. That's not even implemented yet. Yeah, we'll for sure have flying delivery drones before that. That's very soon, and I wouldn't mind that as much because that's not going to make as big of a. It's not going to. I don't know. Like it can be dangerous though, because like if what is and you just happen to be underneath it and it just lands right on you, like that could kill you. Or if it drops a box that's kind of heavy and you're under like. So unless like they fly it, or if it drops on like your car while you're driving and it smashes your windshield.
Yeah, I know this is. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just agreeing with Gil. Go on. What were you saying, Toby?
So, we just need a zombie apocalypse.
That's all we need.
Man. Oh, but geez. Yeah, so I did look up some of the stuff about the electric, because I think the one I saw was 2 days ago where it was like the U.S. certified a fully electric flying car, but apparently there was also someone in Italy who actually made a commute last summer, like a boss of some company. It must have been his company for the electric car, but he made a commute in a flying car and it got approval. So it's like, oh, well, here we are. Like, we now actually have, for the first time, FAA approval for flying cars, even though no one's buying $300,000 Model A, whatever. But the fact that it exists and the approval's there and the technology there, it's like, wow, milestone has been hit. Now, the thing I was thinking of was everyone's about to switch to Tesla. I actually need to really look more into Tesla and EVs in general, but it's just right now, like, it was just so out of reach. The incentives would have been interesting, but you only get that after the fact when you do taxes. If you do taxes, anyway, I'm not going to incriminate myself, allegedly. So
you learned it, Toby. You learned it.
When I took an ethics course, like we had to take an ethics computer science course, mandatory for my undergrad degree, and so I remember it was actually an interesting course. It was more interesting than I expected because we did talk about, this was in 2014. So spring 2014, we were talking about some things like, apparently we were supposed to have drones for delivery by 2017. We were supposed to have self-driving cars also somewhere 2017 to 2020. Even if it wasn't fully operational, you would have some level. That one's probably been the biggest bust because self-driving cars have pretty much been wound down. Those research departments, even very serious like investors in that tech, have started to wind that down. So it seems like fully self-driving is kind of like not a realistic goal right now. But when it came to drones, there's the idea of being able to deliver drones. And sure, like that, if you talk about AI, it could be a piloted drone, but how many drones are you going to pilot across the country? Because it's like Amazon, so we're talking about a huge distributor, and they were going to have possibly like drones by 2017. But one of the things that we talked about was like, well, what happens if? Well, so the thing you mentioned, like someone could drop a package. That's an interesting point. That may have came up, but there was also the what if you see the drone and you decide like, oh, I'm gonna shoot this drone out of the sky because it has a package, and you're not hurting anyone, unlike when you're carjacking a truck. So I mean, this was more facetious, but it was like, would Amazon then be like justified to have guns on their drones, or like you purchase drone insurance, or you have guns on the drone, which is obviously not like that's horrific nonsense to like be willing to like shoot. I mean, it is very American, but to be able to like kill people because they possibly were going to rob a drone, like that should never happen. Like no one should ever arm drones that are delivering things because people might rob the drone. But it was an interesting point of like, what kind of value do you put on these things? How do you sort of insure these things? And we talked about a lot. We talked about military drones and how like a U.S. citizen, definitely can't remember the name, but he was a U.S. citizen who was assassinated somewhere in the Middle East. I can't remember what country. That happened like very much around that time. So there was just some interesting ethical questions about drones, and it is interesting that we haven't gotten to that point. We have flying cars, but apparently we can't deliver. I guess it's just the infrastructure and the FAA and dealing with all of that, right? Routes are pretty predictable on the ground, but in the air, I mean, good luck. You would have to create some kind of a new kind of network, and there already are a lot of networks for like planes and things like that. But then what about the rest of us? Like because you have to get FAA approval to even fly a drone in general. And then like how do those airspaces work? So I mean, it's a game changer, and there's a lot of companies who probably want to get in on the action. I'm not sure how much AI explicitly will play into all of that, just because self-driving again vehicles and just general anything is not. It's not something that seems to be very feasible, but you know, these things do impact the economy for sure. As many sensors as they need to in New York City. That's interesting. This electric car stuff. Oh, interesting, Chad. What's maybe I haven't. I'm surprised if I have an opinion on what your disdain with electric cars are. Well, I guess in general, drivable city, you want more walkability in bikes and transit, but
yeah, no, same here. Like I get how Chad is, because it's not really gonna resolve, like the climate issue. Like it's a step in the right direction. It's like the smallest step, and we're putting so much like money and time into this, and like also just the like the ethical implications and of mining the cobalt in Africa. Like that's just an absolutely sickening thing as well. Yeah, you could just do that. You get like either like an electric bus, a streetcar. To definitely to transport a lot of people through the city.
Mhm.
You could do that, or just a regular bus. But yeah,
Well,
oh, what are you gonna say, Ron?
well, I will say this much. I might push back a little bit because the time that I spent in Ann Arbor, it actually does seem very much more so feasible than anything else. Because the one intersection, especially the intersection where my car broke down,
Mm-hmm.
there was the possibility of having bike lanes. You had the bike lanes there that went, that pretty much went around the city, and even then, they also basically have the capabilities if you wanted to rent like an electric bike or an electric scooter, you had that capability as well.
Mhm.
And you just whenever you got done, you take it to like a charging station, let it charge up, and if you wanted to take out another one that was already ready to go, you could do so. And even then, just to kind of push things a little bit further, even on the U of M campus itself, I've seen a lot of people use the electric scooters to get from one part of the campus to another, or use an electric bike to go from one part of the campus to another. And it kind of gave me the impression of like, okay, if we're serious about implementing electric vehicles and electric bikes, whatever, to kind of reduce a lot of the the emissions and whatever
Mm.
else, or going something that's more alternative. It's very possible. And even then, with Michigan almost paving, especially with Whitmer, she signed off on making sure it making possible to put up more charging stations in more locations. And I think you said it too as well, Toby. Almost kind of partnering up with Tesla to implement more of the rapid chargers at more locations. I think there's a gas station, maybe down south, really, that is implementing more charging stations at the gas pumps versus having more of the gasoline. So it's almost telling people like, yeah, it's very beneficial to go electric as much as possible, and the especially with I'll even say with GM almost getting ready to pave the way to have a lot of their iconic cars become available in electric.
Mhm.
Of course the Corvette is going electric, and it's basically going to look on the same terms of the Ford Mach E. So you have that. You have again the Chevy Camaro that's a four door that's going to be electric as well. And I'm almost pretty sure they're going to have like a two door Chevy Camaro that's going to be electric too. So you have that. You have of course the Chevy Volt that's already been pretty much electric, and I think GM is also doing some electric SUVs and their own electric truck as well. So you're seeing a lot more of a push as far as going electric. And then again, with Michigan basically paving the way for for the big three to go ahead and start putting out more electric vehicles and having more electric charging stations located at like your Walmarts, your malls, Sam's Club, Costco, a lot of your I think I said Walmart too already. I
Yeah,
know
like
Walmart they're going to start having charging stations on their property as well, especially here in Michigan. So you're seeing a lot more people pushing electric vehicles, and actually having the facilities made for electric vehicles to pretty much prosper, you know. And so you take that, and even then with the self-driving cars, we're not going to talk about Tesla because we know Tesla kind of shot themselves in the foot. But I think Ford, I almost want to say I want to say it's either their electric Trailblazer or the Ford Lightning. That one will very soon have the capabilities of being able to drive itself. GM with their electric Hummer, it's almost getting to that point where it can literally drive itself too as well. So
Mm,
you have these car companies willing to put that as an implementation because they understand that with I mean true because again Tesla already made his mark, but at the same time because of the fact that again here true too, but again going back to what I was saying earlier with Chevy, with Ford, Daimler Chrysler, or GM. So with GM, Ford, Daimler Chrysler being situated in Michigan, and especially if a lot of their vehicles are going to be started rolling out within the next year, as far as becoming electric vehicles, and are basically saying that we're going to not offer gas vehicles in the coming years, they're already pushing the fact that we're going to start making electric vehicles and we're going to start making our own electric charging stations where you basically find them at whatever you want to go to. So, with that being said, it's going to be more possible of a good likelihood that electric vehicles are going to be in high demand. But again, as I said before in the previous stream, if I'm going to buy an electric vehicle, I want one that's actually going to look nice. That's going to kind of fit my personality, my lifestyle,
mm-hmm.
and again, cosmetically be more pleasing and appealing versus what we currently have. Because I'm like, no, I'm not buying one. It doesn't look right to me. It may be functional, but doesn't look right. It doesn't
Right.
give that classic sports car edge or that classic sports car feel. But again, that's just me.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me. Be right
Yeah.
back.
No, it's a solid reason. Um, to not purchase a car, like if the look just doesn't really suit you. I remember, a couple of years ago when I was like, "Yay, electric cars are the future." I would have loved a Tesla because that was kind of just the only thing. And I remember I was telling my friend, it's like, "Oh, if you had the opportunity to get a Tesla, you would totally get a Tesla." And he was like, "No, I wouldn't." I was like, "Really?" Because he's like very pro the environment as well. And he was saying that, yeah, they're ugly.
Mm.
And ever since then, I started to like think because how your car looks does matter to you. It does for sure. Um, but since we're on the topic of AI and well, we're on the topic of cars and I did want to mention how like with the whole self-driving cars and how AI has been like implementing into cars and into technology and every, like our everyday use and everything. Like, I know that the big thing with AI has been like, especially lately, has been a Chat GPT and how that is more than likely in a way us giving it our data whenever we use it. And like, I think I've mentioned this on a previous stream. I don't know if I have, but I've talked to like a few people about this, like my concerns about AI. It's I'm kind of afraid of, and I don't know how to word this nicely. I'm kind of afraid of people utilizing AI, with the text, the copy, the imagery that it can create, and just the fantastic things that it can do, and then using that to create something, or to, like, I don't know, in a way, start, like, I don't know, like a creative, like an ad agency business or something, because it can totally be done. Like a small ad agency sort of business to help promote like local businesses that really just don't have the time to work on like their social media themselves, their website themselves. Um, like, yeah, like promoting like their social media stuff, like the copy and everything. And I was like kind of worried about someone using these tools, making a ton of money, getting a lot of power essentially, and them using their voice and trying to, like, be on podcast or whatever, and just using their voice and acting as if, I don't know, like they did it all themselves and like they're this big huge genius, when in reality, I don't want to sound mean, even though this is just a hypothetical person, in reality this person's just a complete idiot, and they're just going to sit there and promote themselves, and people are just going to have them on their podcasts promoting themselves with like their just massive idiocracy, and it's just going to help. I know it's going to influence so many people. It's like, oh, this person did it, I can do it too. Not like that's necessarily a bad thing. It's just more so like, apparently humans have this weird feeling where if they started out with like $10 million and they don't, and like, they use that money to like buy property and be able to flip things and make mistakes, but also still get like win out in the end. There was like a study on this where people use like Monopoly as the example. I'll see if I can find that study. Those people who started out with like a ton of money tend to think that they did it all on their own, and that the people who got no money, it's like tough luck, like just like it's like, sucks to suck. I don't know what to tell you. Sorry, not sorry. When that's really, and when that's really not the case, and it's just really sad how we as humans sort of think like that for some in some cases. Sorry if my mind is all over the place. Essentially, what I'm trying to say is that I'm just afraid of people utilizing this, making a ton of money, and like essentially just ruining people's lives, whether it's like directly or indirectly, trying to promote. Oh, good night, Chad.
Yes, Chad.
Mate.
Right. Like, and people just promoting crap, and like just kind of being afraid of like the wrong person making a ton of money and then being used as this beacon of entrepreneurship, intelligence. Like I would like to talk about how like money and intelligence, how that kind of like that kind of BS where people think that Elon Musk is like this genius, and it's like I think you just think that because he has a lot of money. I'm not saying he's an idiot. I'm like, I don't think he's as smart as you're making him out to be. That's like my that's just my opinion. Replace Chad with AI Chad. Yeah, that's just like one of my biggest concerns, where you'll start to see like a lot of just not very intelligent people making a ton of money. I understand that happens with sports and entertainment and music sometimes. Not all the time, but sometimes. But I'm just kind of afraid where it's just gonna become more of that, and then we're just gonna start to hear and have to listen to just a whole bunch of like hot garbage of like Neil deGrasse Tyson arguing with new rich person who has a massive YouTube following about how the earth is flat and I don't know, black people should feel good that white people freed them from slavery. I don't know, some crap, some BS. You know, like I just feel like we're just gonna hear a lot more just garbage. Just nonsense. Which is the latest scam that actually works. I just can't rock with it because I generally love to create.
I don't know anything about it, honestly.
I don't know if I did. Can't remember if I don't know if I highlighted Rocky's comment. Matthew with the videos that say how to make $5,000 a month using YouTube automation. It's definitely yeah, yeah, exactly. And I feel like that's just we're gonna see like a whole bunch of that. Just
Jeez. It's wild.
from posting other people's videos. Wow. Huh. How's that legal? From posting other people's I mean, there's a lot of like meme accounts on Instagram for sure where they just be posting other people's videos and then they don't even tag the person. Like, he's kind of misleading because he was born rich. Sure, he definitely has some cool achievements, but it's not as crazy as most would think. He's best talent is seizing opportunity. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's true.
it's the vision, right? You have the money, and there's a vision, so you can, hire the people and everything. And hey, I mean, I don't hate the visions. I think SpaceX has actually probably more unexpectedly successful out of all of his ventures. Relatively, I mean, that's a whole different story. But the Faceless YouTube channel, like I do know that there were people who, in general, like even during the campaign days, right, there were people who basically most their channel was, but they would be narrating stuff, right? So they would narrate maybe campaign news and trail stuff, where you would see people, of course, like who comment on other political channels, but and they may not even put like their face in it, right? So it's not like them doing a breakdown. They're just people who do voiceovers, and you can hear their voice, but you don't see them talk. I guess it's a bit different because while they might be faceless, they're not voiceless. But the fact that there could be people just literally posting, yeah, I mean, there's people who put the dramatic music and they'll put clips of like something and aggregate something, or I don't know. Like I can imagine what Gil's talking about because I do think I know I've seen there's channels where they just literally post other content.
Oh, true. No, I've heard of creators' comments.
People can make commentary. Oh, interesting.
I wonder if that's like, when you post something to Instagram, like your picture of you with your friends, that is technically Instagram's now, like I think in the terms and conditions it's technically theirs, so they can kind of do what they want with it. So that's probably how a lot of these AI image generators were able to create fake faces of people. Like I can't remember the site. I'll see if I can find it. It's like this, and I can see how so many businesses will be utilizing this because it is just incredible. It's a site where you can pretty much like create like those videos that you have to watch, like those compliance videos that you have to like those things. So it's kind of like that, or like a tutorial or like a training video, but the man or the woman is totally AI generated but looks very realistic, like very realistic. And then you could just type what you want them to say, and they have a voice behind them, and it sounds really good. And it's kind of perfect because you don't really have to show too much inflection in those kinds of videos, you know? So, you know, you could just purchase that, not have to, you know, try to hire somebody, not have to try to like, you know, do auditions or anything. You just purchase that, have this, I don't know, attractive light skinned black guy talk to you, and or just someone who's like racially ambiguous.
Mm.
Just have them talk to you and instruct you or teach you what you need. Like yeah, it's pretty insane.
You have to look, because I haven't really been hearing a lot about the video generation stuff. I did see like a YouTube clip, like it was a segment about, well, something about the writer's strike. And so I know someone was saying how like there's going to be a point where like you can even put in some kind of prompt. Like he said that he kind of had some 3D animation, you know, kind of thing where he was able to make like like maybe by taking a picture of himself, he had like a 3D model with a likeness of himself, and he was able to make like he said him like he has no feature film or editing experience, but he was able to make like a little short quote unquote film with some kind of like just basic prompts or script of his likeness that was generated. And he was like, me with no knowledge doing that. Like imagine like what kind of like what could happen where people effectively become their own creation studios. Like you can kind of just want content, like maybe you remake a movie with some twist, or like you, I don't know, like it was just interesting the way they were talking about it. I'm like, wow, that's kind of intense. Now, you know, people are still going to want the official products that people put out, but people could make their own little products. And I don't know, this like that idea of like being able to just like say, get someone, and I think that's already a thing you could say. I want this. I want. I don't know. I want to see maybe this famous speech, but done by this actor, right? Like I want to see Morgan Freeman narrate this thing, and you probably get a video. I mean, I'm pretty sure there's memes even and things where you kind of see video. I mean, sometimes it's really badly edited where you see like SpongeBob saying something and you have like a curse word or something, but you could actually get something that's a lot smoother where it's like, I want to see this historical scene, but maybe SpongeBob, like let's get the I don't know, the Sermon on the Mount, but SpongeBob, or the March on Washington, but Family Guy or something, and you just kind of get these weird mashups. I don't know. It's all crazy stuff out there. It's Ron here. Oh yeah, didn't we have a? Actually, never mind. I've said too much. I still do a lot of boomers and Gen Xers prefer paying more to have a real person bring their videos to life.
Yeah, for right now, like boomers are retiring. Like I was actually like my brother-in-law was talking to me about this where you know there's going to be a huge gap in the you know in the workforce because boomers are retiring. And I was telling him, I was like, oh, you know, like what, like CEOs and people are retiring. He's like, no, not necessarily, because it's not just they aren't just in those positions. They're in a, you know, like every single level of work. And I was like, oh yeah, true, but I don't know what the heck I was thinking. I was being facetious, but and so there's going to be a massive gap in skill set in the workforce. So you know, there's going to be a lot of, probably have to be like a lot of backfill, or maybe not as much backfill, but I don't know, like, will the AI be replacing some of these people? Probably, or just helping the people who are already there, you know, the millennials, the Gen Xers, the Gen Zs, like, to utilize the AI. I do think for right now, AI is going to be a tool to help pretty much not backfill anybody who's retiring. And wait, is Ron AI right now?
Yeah.
I didn't see him blink. No, he's not.
Wow, that's crazy. Wow, Gil, that's crazy. No, I'm flesh and blood.
Hmm.
I am flesh and blood. I am. Really?
No, do
Matter
we
of fact,
need
you know what?
more?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
But speaking of AI, like people though, um,
Mm.
relationships,
Mm.
how that's going to change.
Hmm.
Um, I have to honestly say the boomers I see here in Florida are really short and can navigate a phone. That's true. Um, oh, nice. That's what's
Oh,
up. Because using a
oh,
Chromebook
snap.
can be kind of hard because you can't really save anything to your desktop.
Mm.
So if she knows how to utilize it, to that's really good. So,
Mhm.
but when it comes to dating and AI, um, I have a prediction, and I'm not good at predicting things, so please don't bet on me. But I have a prediction that I honestly think dating apps a- are going to like invest more into like the sex dolls. Yeah, because the cost of living has gone above. So I have a feeling that like dating apps are going to invest in like sex dolls and or like AI webcam people or something
Mm.
because dating has gotten very polarized. Like people have just gotten like incredibly polarized. Reddit now, like the subreddit Ask Man used to be awesome. Like it used to be fun and like it used to be like good information. Now it's just men complaining about women and dating. The subreddit Ask Women isn't too far behind, and I have a feeling that with online dating, with this generator, and if you ever seen the movie Her with uh, Joaquin Phoenix and Scarlett Johansson, then like AI girlfriends or AI partners aren't isn't going to be that far behind
Mm.
because people are lonely. People are
Mhm.
going to need to seek some sort of companionship,
Mhm.
and people just aren't getting that from one another. And it's very, very sad. But even though, like, you need human beings on the planet, I wouldn't be surprised if, there's going to be some kind of investments into just creating like these AI girlfriends.
Mm.
Because like technically, like when Gil jokingly said if Ron's an AI, it's like honestly, like it wouldn't be that hard to recreate us as as AI. Because like you don't see my full body, you know, like it wouldn't be hard. Like I guess the hardest part would be the fingers for right now, but I'm sure fingers will like they'll get better at rendering them
Mm.
in probably like a year or so. Like I don't think they're that far behind. But or you don't even need to see my hands really. So like if like to create a background, we already have those fake backgrounds. That's not anything difficult. Like
Mhm.
it'll I don't know. Like it wouldn't be that far away from the future. Like I could see that happening. Sex work is illegal. You can't do that legally. And I think it's going to also show that sex work actually has more of a necessity than people like to believe because they just think it's just sex. When in reality, there's a lot of men who like people in general, but men like specifically, they seek out sex workers, escorts for companionship.
I've heard
You
about that.
know, like they talk and interact and things like that. My therapist always says that if you have sex with someone, you're gonna catch feelings. Well, I'm always like, no, not really. Like, but you, someone's going to, and it's not like you're gonna fall in love, catch feelings. Like even if you caught 1% of feelings, like you could bear, like that's still catching feelings. Like that's still something. So like when these guys, hire sex workers or escorts, um, they may be like, oh, I didn't like, it's like I don't have any feelings for this person, like whatever, it is what it is. They know the deal. However, if you keep hiring that particular escort and you don't have sex with her every time, or it's like you probably caught some kind of feelings. It's like, yeah, you may still have your wife, or you may still, you probably still on the dating apps trying to date or something, but you probably caught like just a little fifi, just 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 a little bit of the feelsies. If sex work becomes legal and organized, it's a wrap. You can kiss society goodbye. What do you mean?
This is interesting because I just saw something. It was inside of a chat. I'm trying to remember. It was like a live stream, and I think someone was talking about they want a future where monogamy. They were saying they wanted to get to the point where polygamy. They're trying to normalize certain things. Oh my gosh! If I can find the YouTube video, because it wasn't even the main part, but people kept going in the live chat, and I feel like sometimes the live chat is its own video. In some of these, like I'll be watching something. Sometimes it's a premiere, so it's not literally live. It's just you can comment live while it premieres. But I'm wondering if this was because I follow certain like independent media like The Hill, but I think one of the hosts now, Brianna Droid Gray, she has her own podcast called Bad Faith, and I haven't really watched it really ever, or maybe I've seen clips, but there was a video with her and Irami Ose. I try to remember this Ghanaian American guy, who I've heard of before actually in the last few years, but I hadn't seen anything recently from him. And I think I just remember seeing that kind of concept probably in the chat because I think they were talking about a whole bunch of things. They were talking about affirmative action and then like some like controversies with like, for instance, the Jonah Hill thing and Kiki Palmer and some other stuff. So I think like that might have been what triggered it. People had their opinions and they're saying that like, people, you're trying to normalize certain things. At some point, open relationships will be normalized to the point where you'll be shamed for not wanting one. And then they were saying like society is basically going to be done when it gets to the point where if polygamy is like legalized or if it gets to like, I don't even know. In terms of what Rocky's saying, I know that like, okay, maybe some people won't crave the traditional family structure if you know that you can get, but you still have to of course pay. Right. And it's still like, I don't know, like there's still people who are going to want families, I think, regardless. But yeah, there probably would be a lot of people who check out of dating because, now if you really just want companionship for real, you want someone, you're still going to do that. But if you're kind of going through all those hoops, hoping to like get laid or get some with disappointing results or just with like certain weird dynamics that you don't really want to deal with, then you're like, well, let me just get consistent, guaranteed sex companionship of some kind that's not like super serious. It's almost like the complications of like what a friends with benefit or no strings attached could be, but then without those complications because this is a professional service. Obviously, you're paying for it, and not everyone has that kind of money to throw around. So it'll be interesting if something like that does happen. I don't know how's the Netherlands doing. You have it Singapore as well. You have some places where it is legal, and I'm not sure what marriage rates or the health of marriages in those countries are. To be honest, I don't know.
Sorry, were you gonna say something?
No, I was just reading some of what Rocky's comment said.
Oh, okay. So no, I disagree with Rocky, and here's why. So I think, like, first of all, I think there's going to be, like, let's say they legalize sex work August 1st. There's going to be, like, most likely a pretty big boom of, I don't know. There's probably going to be a pretty big boom of men, or, you know, people in general going out and seeking sex work. Sex workers and sex work, but like seeking sex workers. They'll realize that there isn't like a lot more. There will be more people joining, you know, going into the sex work field. Yeah. And, you know, getting things organized and everything. And then there's going to be a massive boom of people hiring sex workers. And then it's going to taper off because they're kind of, I guess, in a way, like, kind of just get their fill and realize, like, hey, I actually want more than this. Like, I'm out here because, you know, for, you know, years, you know, people were, you know, thinking that just having casual sex for as long as I want is gonna be, you know, is the bee's knees, is the best thing on the planet. And then when you actually do experience that, you're gonna realize that it's not. You're gonna realize it's kind of like, it's like, okay, like, this is nice. I do want more though. You know, I want to spend more than just like an hour with somebody or 2 hours or whatever. And there's also going to be an influx of people becoming sex workers because they realize, you know, especially people from like OnlyFans or, you know, maybe like strippers or something, they're gonna, you know, put their hat in the ring and see what happens. And then they're gonna realize, like, yeah, this is not for me. Like, and then a lot of them will quit. So I don't think, there might just be like a slight increase. You know, it's gonna, you know, there's gonna be, like with anything, it's gonna be a huge wave of it, and then it's just gonna taper down, and it's gonna kind of just stabilize after, I don't know, maybe like 2 or 3 years. Of course, like the people who are just incredibly sex starved, incels, like whoever, people in like dead bedroom marriages are gonna go seek this out, have their fill, and then they're gonna, like, it's just probably not really going to be for them because they realize, like, oh, this isn't as good as I thought it was going to be. That's just my opinion. Like, but however, I do think that once people kind of get that realization, they're gonna realize, like, they're gonna come to terms with the fact that it's not as what they had hoped it would be. Because I think that's kind of just like what happens with like literally anything. Like, you know, like, I mean, Toby and Ron, like, y'all are living in areas where marijuana is legalized. I'm sure when it first got legalized, there was a ton of people buying weed, and then it just kind of tapered off. It's just like, or pretty much the same people who were smoking weed are just continuing to smoke weed. And then there were some people who are like, oh, this is cool, let me try it. And they're like, yeah, no, it's not really for me. And then they kind of, now it's just there, you know?
Right. But the thing is because of the fact the availability is there. And because of the fact that the availability is there, the increase of usage is going to be there as well. Again, you take my city of Three Rivers for crying out loud.
Mm-hmm.
We have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 different dispensaries, with one more being built right now as we speak. And so, mind you, it is still a very conservative city within a very conservative county for two. But the number of people who are going into the marijuana shops, it's increasing at a very slow, steady, almost very rapid rate because of the fact the availability is there. And because of the fact that the availability is there, more and more people are going to not only just to go just to say that they've been there, but they're going to go there with the anticipation of I'm going to not only just get some stuff that's going to get me high and everything else, but I'll probably want to get some stuff that's going to make me relax. I'm probably going to get some stuff that's going to help me to naturally cause my aches and pains to pretty much go away. And because the availability is going to be there, you're going to see, again, like I said before, more and more people use it and get involved with it. When we talk about AI, and then you throw in sex work in there, in dating as well, it's already happening.
Right.
It's already happening because I know for me, whenever I go on Snapchat and just scroll through a lot of the highlights and the videos and everything else, a lot of times I do get slapped around with a lot of, hey, you should have an AI girlfriend. You know, you could customize your AI girlfriend to look, act, however you deem it. I'm like, why? But when I go to Google Play and download a game, just because I want to download a game. Actually, no, I'll take that back. The last game that I downloaded was Monopoly Go. And in the recommendation feed and in the suggested ad or the suggested apps you should look at feed, you saw a lot of the apps on there catered to an AI generated girlfriend. I'm like, really?
Mm.
Is that what we're doing now?
Hmm.
It's so it's so because of the fact that with these apps already rolling out, and with these apps you see a lot, and again, majority men are going to them. It's almost saying as though a perfect I can create a perfect being that's going to give me everything that I want and need without really giving me a whole lot of attitude and a whole lot of lip,
Mhm.
and basically just in a weird sense stroke my ego because that's what I need. So you have that dynamic, and it's going to get very more in depth, if I can say that correctly. It's going to get very more in depth where not only are you going to be able to create how this AI responds to you and everything else, and not only the appearance, but again, going to what Elle was saying earlier, how the utilization of sex dolls, now you can be able to create your sex doll based upon the AI you've been talking to on this app. And so now it's going to get even,
Huge.
and now it's going to get even more sophisticated. I mean, for crying out loud, Japan already has a virtual reality sex toy that you can buy, and it's going to give you the sensation of having sex with whatever actress, actor you please. And
Mm-hmm.
so you couple that
Interesting.
with AI. Now you're taking everything to a whole new ball game, to a whole new playing field that is going to get very, very more in depth. It's going to get very more creative to the user, but also at the same time, it is really going to drive away the fact of, okay, if I really don't want that human interaction, if I really don't want to tap in, to my humanistic feelings and I just really just want to have sex just to be having sex, I don't need a person to do that anymore. Like that part of the equation can now be gone and thrown out the window. And because of the fact that I'm having sex with a sex doll who doesn't have emotions, who's pretty much there to provide me with pleasure, that's all I really need. And just pretty much go from there.
I do think that like that will definitely happen. I just don't think it's going to be the majority of people though. Like
Mhm.
I don't know if it's just like wishful thinking. I don't know if people are just gonna have like a whole bunch of like pod babies or something.
Mm.
Like Amelia Clark is starring in a movie where it's like a futuristic world where women don't really get pregnant anymore. They just do like the pod baby thing.
Oh,
um, um, like I don't know. Like I can
Mhm.
see how that can be happening where like the person you just been interacting with on your phone, can just sort of be ported over into a sex doll. I guess one of the reasons why I
Mhm.
don't think it's going to be, like, it can happen, and I'm sure it will. What I don't think is, but I don't think it's going to be as easy because these sex dolls are probably going to be incredibly expensive,
mm.
and that's going to
Oh,
deter a lot of
please.
people.
Go ahead. I'll put it like this. I'll put it like this.
It'll be like a car payment sort of thing.
Oh,
It
snap.
could be, and again, if you want to think about it in that term, yeah, because for people who, and again, if you want to get like, let's say for a guy, a stroker, and especially a mechanical stroker, where you set it to whatever you want it to go, and you go to town with it. A toy like that's going to cost you $100. Okay,
Mm.
you get an inflatable blow up doll. Again, you're looking like 200-300 bucks. As far as like actual robotic sex doll, easy. You can say easy, especially with all the customizations and everything else. 2 3 grand, and for most people, that's nothing. That's nothing. That's nothing. 2 3 grand for a actual sex doll that's like to your specifications. $3,000. That's nothing for most people. That's nothing. And even then, you go to you know an adult shop, you'll find like different sex toys that range from something simple to something very sophisticated. They're going to cost you about $200-300, and again, for some people, that's nothing.
Hmm.
That's nothing. That's not an issue. You know, when you think about it in those kind of terms, and you think about it from that kind of perspective, to have an AI getting ported over to an actual sex doll, and it's created to your specifications, to your image and everything else, what it has, and all the kits in the all like everything that you would want in there. Again, a couple $1,000 for some people, that's nothing. And even then, to have like some kind of quote unquote, payment system where you can own it with some installment payments. Again, people with money like that, it's nothing. It's nothing to them. They can do that. And again, it takes away the worries, it takes away the cares, it takes away the stress in their eyes, because now again, the availability for it is there. And again, not just men. You can say the same thing for women too.
Hmm.
The same thing goes for women too. They can get a dildo and whatnot, and especially one that's like especially one where it's robotic and they can set the settings at their leisure. Again, you're looking at easy $200, easy $200, $300. And then again, let's just say they want a toy where they get the male body part attached to it, and they don't have to worry about again getting pregnant, this and all this other good stuff. Again, hundreds of dollars. They don't mind spending that. That's nothing to them. You talk about getting a male AI ported into a male sex doll with all your specifications that you want. Again, you're looking at a couple $1,000 to them. Again, it's nothing to them. It's nothing. And so, uh, let's see. hmm I mean, yeah, but even still, then I mean, you think about what's the suit 2023? What 2014, 2015, 2016?
Mhm.
They were already advertising where people can create like their desired human, lack of better words, and port their brainwaves or however they advertise it, that you could port when you before you die, a part of you actually goes into this created being to your specifications, and that's going to be you for the rest of the time that you're living. And again, this was just years ago, not even 10 years ago. This was
Mhm.
very recent. And I think they almost had. I think it was advertised somewhere in California, if I'm not mistaken. And it was kind of like almost like the next best thing to get into, and it gave me Ghost in the Shell vibes.
Mhm.
You know, it gave me those kind of vibes. I'm like, man, that's crazy that already we're living at a time where the capability of creating a humanoid shell and you imparting your brain inside of that humanoid shell is actually possible. That's very alarming. And mind you, like I said before, it's not even less than 10 years ago that was actually brought up. Not even. And so you look at it from when it got introduced up until now, who knows really at this point in time if it's been successful or if it's just a figment of somebody's imagination that it hasn't caught on just yet. But again, we will never know. We would never know.
That's hilarious. Oh, but edit. That is hilarious.
Oh, but I mean, all that stuff
Mm,
gets to be a bit trippy. I know. I think this is
it
one thing
is.
that was like mentioned earlier about industries that AI could get into, and I do know that like I think the dating app thing was mentioned, right? That investing in sex dolls, but even like the idea of having a companion virtually, right?
Mhm.
Um, a virtual companion, like almost like maybe a way that you can, because I know Tinder, for instance, will have these like I haven't really used it in years, but I remember they would have these articles where it's like they would basically suggest how to have better pictures, how to have better bios, and now in the age of AI, I mean, shoot, even Snapchat has like this weird like AI bot at the top where, and I mean, I when it first came, I like messaged a few things, and it actually gave some pretty interesting advice. And I'm like, well, what would an actual dating app, how would it be structured where it could have an AI companion where like you're able to either like learn better, it could, can analyze your stuff. You can almost like have a partner, and I've heard that concept in general where it's like
Mhm.
people are going towards the virtual partners. I know Japan. I mean, they're they're kind of ahead of the curve, or however you want to put it. Very very interesting, let's say. And they had something where like there were virtual companions that were becoming more popular. Some of it for like the elderly, but then there's also people who, for like, romance reasons, were starting to get more into that. And I don't know. It's I'm gonna have to go back honestly and review some of this and just 'cause society like it was interesting because of course 2019 2020 that was always a big part with Yang's campaign, but now it's just like it's not even that long from back then. But it's just crazy how people are talking about all these things that will be shaken up, or how people can integrate. Like I know Khan Academy introduced an AI to help students learn, so you can kind of learn from your mistakes before you actually get something wrong. Like in school, you can kind of like go through problems and get really good feedback on what you did.
Hmm.
Study Island or Chegg actually is apparently about to go out of business because their model is kind of gonna die after I guess people can figure out how to get homework done for them without needing to like pay for Chegg tutors
Mm.
and some
Oh
of that
man.
stuff, which is crazy because Chegg was like a staple for a lot of people. Um, and so it's just very interesting overall to see like businesses that are getting put out because of AI or people who are integrating it for their own needs. And I need to figure out, like, I just signed up. I'm sure I've used some chat GPT esque tool, but I just made an account like yesterday or so because I wanted to see if I could get this dang thing to write code for me. But I didn't really it didn't really work with my actual computer. It only worked on my phone because I think my computer was it didn't block it, but it wasn't generating anything. So that was just like my kind of random like seeing how generative AI and stuff is going to work with different things. It's just wild.
Mm.
Yeah. Like Chat GPT. I don't know, like it is really cool. I guess like one of the things it does is that it always has to do something original, and that can be kind of problematic. Because like if you're just asking like, what does 2 plus 2 equal? I don't. It might just give you an answer. It might just say 4. It might just be like 2 plus 2 equals 4. Like the numerical number 2 plus it, like in addition to that, like it'll always have to be something kind of different, which can be kind of problematic. So when it comes to coding, especially, granted, yeah, there's several ways to code something. It's just sometimes it really just doesn't even do it correctly. Like the other day, I asked it to create a simple drag and drop, um, like element, like a simple drag and drop function for like HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Like W3 Schools was able to create it in like 45 lines of code. I put the code that ChatGPT gave me. It was like 65 lines of code, and it didn't even do it right. I was like, you could have just copied W3 Schools. Like it was free. But yeah.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah, results may vary, and a lot of things, like you said, like it I don't know, you're taking snippets from things all over the place. I literally like looked up
Yeah.
how to use Django to do this thing, and it basically just spat out a bunch of things that I could tell based on the formatting literally came from the formal Django project site because I had basically that's my new project is building this Python Django app, and I was like, oh, I recognize this heading like what inside of the ChatGPT window. I was like, this came straight from these docs, and
Mhm.
I mean, it probably did come from multiple different pages, maybe, or at least they got the right parts. And it was a bunch, you could copy the code. It would tell you which thing was Python, which thing were Bash commands, and it was like, huh, this is interesting. But I didn't actually really use the result from that because I think I had already gotten most of what I needed anyway. But I was just curious. I was like, if you can auto generate stuff for me, I mean, that would just save me so much.
Yeah.
But honestly, I haven't even done the research on it. Honestly,
Yeah. ChatGPT. It's definitely, going to be like a massive thing. I just don't think where it needs to be right now. Like, and it's been disappointing me a lot lately, which I guess is a good thing. It's like, yeah, I guess like job security, yay. But Right now, it's more so used. You kind of use it as like a tool rather than a replacement. Like it is helpful for tooling. Like I don't think I have access to Bard yet. I do think I signed up for it. That's Google's ChatGPT rival, or take on it. But yes, Google's AI ChatGPT. Find it interesting that they called it Bard. 'Cause I believe that's like more of a male name. Okay, I have, and like I find it kind of interesting that it seems like these AI things are going towards male, whereas like assistants like Alexa, Google Assistant, Siri were like female voices. So it's a little interesting.
Yeah.
You could change the voices, but like who's really gonna do that? Like the fact that it just kind of starts out like as male is quite telling. It's like, oh, women can help you, but men are gonna, like women can like assist you and help you, but men are gonna be creating things, like building. It's like, okay, thanks. Enter a prompt and wait for it to populate, and it already did. Okay, I know. Yeah, it's history all over again. I know, like ChatGPT is very fast too, so I'm looking forward to seeing Bard then.
Yeah. And even Bing, of course, I mean, their thing was they integrated in their actual chat. And so Bing, which was never really ever overtaking Google, all of a sudden made Google panic because it's like, oh crap, Microsoft out of nowhere decided to integrate AI into their actual search. So I haven't really been using any of these, honestly. Because even though I do have Bing, or I guess Bing is my default because my company uses Microsoft. So the search is, Edge is my default browser. Honestly, like even here on my personal computer, I'm using Edge. It's weird because Chrome has always been like my, it's always the browser. But now it's like I rarely use Chrome just because I've had Edge. Edge has gotten a lot better. It's actually become a thing that's usable, unlike IE years ago. But so I don't know, but I still don't really use the search. I think I don't like how the homepage will take you to MSN because then there's just like so many news articles. So I think I'm not really going to the actual search bar. Like I'll search something, but it's not like I'm like on the actual Bing.com where you kind of have, and if it's in the main search bar, I'm not seeing it. So Bard, all of these things, I've really not tried that much, and I feel like I should have more interest in just kind of seeing how it all works. But I don't know. I don't think I even know like what exactly to search or output, and then you have actual GPT as a tool. Like in fact, when I signed up my account yesterday, one of the first things I saw was like actual GPT, and it's saying for developers the API, blah blah blah. Here's how to use it in a project. And I was so confused. And I was like, oh, then it was like, oh, by the way, if you want the chat assistant, Chat GPT is over here. And I was like, huh. So it was interesting that they, at least on that page, they were showing GPT more from the programmatic side, which would be very interesting to look into. But I don't even think we can really use it, at least not for sponsor work, because even if it's unclassified, it's still sensitive information. So it would have to be really just personal projects or doing things that are so boilerplate that you don't have to worry about any sensitivity issues. You do it. Oh snap! Oh, that is so interesting. I forgot about that. That's obviously an important piece. Is all these other tools that exist, like ChatGPT is its own thing, but if you have Google, that's a million different services right there, right? If I'm not going to say its name, but if Amazon's thing does it, then that's also I don't want it to go off, but
gosh, right.
If Amazon decides that you're going to be able to do some AI prompt, that would actually be very interesting.
Mm.
And then, yeah, I don't know. It's a little freaky because there are so many other things outside of just the search. You have so many integrated services for all the big Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and then of course Apple.
True, Siri.
Mm.
Yeah.
Samsung if they want to get into that.
I don't know.
But anyways,
yeah. I think we should start wrapping up.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, y'all. Yeah, well, like Microsoft bought a portion of ChatGPT. I don't think they bought all of it, but it's essentially like it's essentially Microsoft's thing.
I see.
Yeah, and they're gonna be putting it into like the Office products, which I think I've started doing. I can't really tell yet, but yeah, just wanted to. Yeah, thank you all so much for watching. As always, we stream Tuesday nights. We're going to be here next Tuesday,
Yes.
and we're going to be here the Tuesday after on August 1st.
Yes.
But August is when we're going to start our every other week. But as always, thank you all so much for coming in, listening.
Yes.
Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, but our conversations don't have to end here. You can always chat with us in the Discord. And yeah. Sorry, like it's it's late. Yes, thank you all so much for coming. Thank you, Gil. And as always, we'll see y'all next week.
Yes, indeed.
On another topic on money. And we hope to see y'all next week.
Mhm.
Good night.
Good night.